Coming up tonight, PM continues to receive flood assistance. Heads of Mission consultation draws to an end today, and Nausori Health Centre to be reviewed. Good evening, I'm Sandra Sam. The Nauruan ambassador to Fiji, His Excellency Jaden Kaffis, today presented a cheque of 37,300 Fijian dollars to Fijian Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama at the Prime Minister's office in Suva. Kaffis reiterated to the Prime Minister that it was a token of goodwill by the people of Nauru towards those displaced people who were victims of the recent flooding in Fiji.
To help these people.
Thank you.
In the affected areas. Like the Chinese have said, many hands make light work. I hope this modest check amongst the many others will help bring relief to the people and the areas affected by these recent floods. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Excellency. If you could pass on to His Excellency the President our gratitude for this wonderful donation, and which will go towards helping those that have been affected in the flood.
Yes.
Prime Minister Bainimarama thanked his Nauruan counterpart for the donation, expressing thanks on behalf of Fiji, especially for helping in a time of need. The Prime Minister also revealed that he will take another visit to the West and inspect the progress on the rehabilitation works.
Very much. I'll be traveling again sometime next week just to go and have a look at the relief work. It's good now that the weather has eased up.
Okay, good.
There's not. In fact, we would love just a bit of rain, just to wash out the mud.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not too much.
Just enough to wash.
Just enough to wash out the mud. But there's a lot of relief work going down there now, fixing the road and the bridges and the drains.
And the roads, huh?
Yeah. That's the most important thing. Get the kids go back to school.
That's right. That's right. Anyway,
Excellency, thank you very much.
Okay.
Very kind of you.
And still on flood relief assistance, aid is still pouring in from many business houses, NGOs, donor agencies and other international development partners and individuals. Prime Minister Bainimarama says he is very impressed with the donations.
And our own association has been giving out funds to other NGOs, like Red Cross and Art of Living and the Seva Samaj. Today we'll be doing all that. So this is our small effort.
Thank you, Mr. Hemant, lawyer. And
I hope this comes to good use, and we know it will come to good use through your...
always.
Yeah.
Maybe thank you the retailers, and on behalf of government, let me thank you for this wonderful donation, which will go towards helping those that have been affected in the West.
The Suva Retail Association this morning handed over $2,500, while the China Railway Third Group visited the Prime Minister this morning and handed over a cheque of $6,000. And surprisingly, the Ministry of Finance, which comes under the ambit of the Prime Minister's portfolio, also showed their support towards the Prime Minister's Relief Fund.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Wonderful donation from the Ministry of Finance Association. That's very kind of you. It'll go towards helping those that have been affected in the flooding last week. We didn't expect it, but this is wonderful.
So far, the Prime Minister's Relief Fund has exceeded $1.3 million.
Fiji's Head of Missions this afternoon concluded their three-day consultation forum in Suva in what has been described as a very successful meeting. Discussions covered a wide range of topics aimed at enhancing service delivery throughout our foreign missions, including the level of trade and tourism.
We have to acknowledge the big strides that have been taken over the last few years in Fiji's foreign policy. You know, for example, when was the last time a Russian foreign minister visited Fiji? Answer, first time in history. This is one of the P5 countries, the United Nations, coming to visit Fiji. So very significant. So I think there's a recognition that not just Fiji, but the Pacific Island countries are starting to stand up in the international community. We've been forced to by various circumstances, one of which is climate change and sea level rise, to be much more vocal and aspirational in our work in the international community.
While Fiji continues to champion the rights and interests of small Pacific Island developing countries through organizing and chairing regional meets, it has also factored the seriousness of climate change through the establishing of a climate change unit within the Foreign Affairs Ministry, a unit that focuses on climate change policies in the region. The consultations for the past few days has assisted in identifying new strategies to improve performance, strengthen cooperation and encourage teamwork amongst the missions, the ministry and relevant agencies.
They are accepting the message which we are giving them 100%, which is that we've had some problems, we're sorting them out ourselves, and we've got a good, steady, calm, peaceful progress towards truly democratic, hopefully sustainable democracy in 2014 onwards for this nation. And that's good news, so of course they accept it in a positive spirit.
Fiji has made significant strides as an emerging Pacific Island leader, actively participating in various regional and global partnerships, as well as supporting growth amongst its Pacific Island neighbors, an inclusive outlook that is essential to national development. Fiji News spoke to Fiji's permanent representative to the United Nations ambassador, Peter Thompson, on how Fiji's foreign policy has evolved.
Prime Minister Bainimarama had set the tone this week, challenging Fiji's high commissioners, ambassadors and consul generals to adopt a multi-pronged approach that will help enhance Fiji's presence in the international arena. Fiji is no longer a minor player, as bilateral links amongst major economies such as Russia, the US and China has greatly elevated our status in the Pacific region. Fiji's foreign relations has matured and developed since 2006 as efforts in national building has moved to greater heights.
We have slightly differing roles. Obviously in Brussels and New York there's a multilateral aspect where we're dealing with the international community, whereas the bilateral ambassadors are just dealing with the countries to which they're accredited to, and they have more work to do on things like trade and investment, consular work for the Fijian diaspora, and the tourism promotion. These are more the sort of things they're focusing on. But all of us have to be out there selling Fiji to the world, and what has been very valuable for me in this experience over the last 3 days is not only just sharing with my fellow ambassadors, but hearing from all the permanent secretaries and the Reserve Bank and others to bring us all onto the same page.
Meetings as such will also set the basis of how we conduct bilateral and multilateral relations in the 21st century and beyond. Deepening of Fiji's international relations at the multilateral and bilateral level is critical to our future development, in particular with the ASEAN and NAM membership. The hosting of the Engaging with the Pacific, including the Small Islands Developing States, the Bali Dialogue on Democracy and the Melanesian Spearhead Group meeting with Prime Minister Bainimarama as the chair. Ambassador Isikeli Mataitonga mentioned that the ministry must create the platform that will enable them to liaise consistently with the Strategic Framework for Change Office for future updates to all our 14 missions abroad, as it represents the national direction for moving Fiji forward.
And in a nutshell, what we've done over the last 2 days is create a think tank for where we have been up to this point in time and what we need to do to solidify our strategy as a ministry, including the headquarters and the missions, in the very medium term.
After all, diplomacy is not the instrument of the last resort, neither is it a luxury, but it is an exercise which all stakeholders will need to amplify to further enhance and raise our status in the international community. The 3-day forum was officially closed by His Excellency the President, Ratu Epeli Nailatikau.
Coming up after the break, first ever health symposium for Suva. $120,000 crop damage in the north, and free water supply for affected families.